Hi, friends. I'm Tina Tower, and welcome to Her Empire Builder Show. It is so great to have you with me today. I hope you are having a happy day. So, no matter where you are right now, what I want you to do, whether you're walking, whether you're cooking, whether you are driving in the car, let's all take a nice deep breath because as women, there is definitely not enough time to stop and just breathe. So let's just breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. Doesn't that just feel better? Okay, so what I wanted to share with you today was behind the scenes of my new Evergreen program. Now, I have been running online courses since 2016. So, 2016, I started my first membership. And then 2018, I started my first course. And then 2020, I started Her Empire Builder. And so, everything has been focused on that. But in the last couple of weeks, I have started a totally unrelated Evergreen course for a new business called Welcome to Adulting, which I wanted to tell you a little bit about today. And the reason being is because so much of what I talk about with Her Empire Builder is focused on membership and mastermind. But so many of our members have low cost, high volume offers. And I haven't had anything to play with that. And so in order to teach it really well and to experiment a lot with it, I wanted to do my own. And so that is why I kind of created Welcome to Adulting. So we are actually launching Her Empire Builder next week. So if you are wanting to learn how I do all of this, how we start a course from scratch, how we start a business from scratch, how we build memberships, how we build masterminds, how we do all the marketing in between, like the whole business engine that runs behind it, and how to choose your right offers, your right pricing, your curriculum, all of that sort of thing, that is exactly what we teach inside Her Empire Builder. So if you want that, just click the link in the show notes or go to herempirebuilder.com and you will be able to join us. I'm actually running a free 3-day training, which is really great to kind of for course creators that are either getting started or wanting to level up beyond 6 figures. So it will run through personal brand, it will run through content creation, how to like stand out from the crowd when it's so noisy right now, and then how to make money from your courses, because statistically 12% of female-run businesses make more than $100,000 a year, which is just terrible. And so I really want to be the change with that. I want to do everything that I possibly can to flip that statistic, because there is no reason that women shouldn't be making more than $100,000 a year. I know that for some people, they want to go to 7 figures. For some people, they don't want a business that's that big, but everyone should be making 6 figures or multiple 6 figures. And so I'm very, very passionate about helping you do that. So if that is on your goals list, join us inside Her Empire Builder. So first of all, let's have a chat about Welcome to Adulting and how it came about. So it actually wasn't on my bingo card. In November of last year, in 2025, I was running it for my kids. So I am quite a nerd. I have had a habit of running PowerPoint presentations for my kids at big milestones. So when they first started school, like big school, when they started in kindergarten, and then again when they started high school, and then also when we traveled around the world for a year before we embarked on that journey. I have ran PowerPoint presentations and kind of giving them all of the information, because obviously we talk a lot. I'm very big on communication, but I also think that there is a lot of power in being able to kind of have a line in the sand to go, hey, this is a change of chapter for us. And so from this point on, I'm going to treat you a little bit differently as you are growing up and moving into that next level of life. But also, here's the things that you need to know. Like from here on out, like you're going to be responsible for your own washing, for cooking one night a week, like for all of these different things, for homework, for everything at the different stages. And so it kind of came about. Kai, my eldest son, he was going to the doctor for the first time solo, which, you know, is a big moment to go without your mama. So he was going by himself. And then he got home and I was like, you know, how did you go? What happened? He's like, I can't believe how expensive it was. It cost me $90. I'm like, yeah, but you got the Medicare rebate, right? He's like, no, they didn't mention a rebate. I'm like, what do you mean they didn't mention a rebate? It's like, I just paid the money and left. I'm like, well, you've got to get your Medicare rebate. And then he hadn't set up his MyGov account with like his Medicare stuff in there. And so I was like, oh, we've got to set you up on a whole new set of like life admin and skills for this next level. Because then I was talking about, well, I register his car for him. I take care of his insurance. I do his phone bills. Like I take care of them a lot. And like a lot of parents do as they've got teenagers, but there needs to be a line where it's like, okay, from this point on, I'm going to teach you how to do this stuff so that you can be self-sufficient, you can be independent. Because as much as I grieve my kids growing up, because I just, I had the time of my life. It was the best part of my life in raising small humans. But that chapter is over, like ready or not, here we come, right? And so that is done. And my goal above all else was to raise really good quality men. I want them to be independent. I want them to be kind. I want them to be good men in the world. And so I had the realization that, all right, I've got to prepare you for this next level. And so I put together my PowerPoint presentation and like we arranged a date to do it. And then they were kind of putting shit on me and saying to their friends like, oh my God, mom's doing this. And their mates were going, can I come too? And so we ended up having 16 teenagers packed into our lounge room, all listening to Welcome to Adulting. And they were taking all these notes and they were super into it. We were talking about retirement accounts and compound interest and buying shares, and as well as all the life admin stuff like setting up all the government services apps and how to go to the doctor and drugs with harm minimization and contraception and safe sex and relationships and behavior and all of these different things. And they surprisingly loved it. And so I shared a post on social media about it and was immediately inundated with people going, can I buy your slides? Like, what were you talking about? I'd love this in a course. And of course, me being a course creator was like, okay, maybe, I mean, first I was like, no, I'm staying focused. Like, eyes on the prize, keep you in your own lane. Like, let's stay there. But then when it got to about 500 comments organically, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never got this much traction in anything I've ever made ever. So obviously the universe is telling me make this into a product. And so that's when I started going, actually, it would be very helpful to her empire builder if I used Welcome to Adulting as like an experiment in starting a course from scratch, because a lot of what I build in her empire builder has been built on personal brand and has been built from the reputation that I've had in business over 21 years. So it's hard when I have new people coming in and they're like, yeah, but I don't have like the legacy that you have. How do I start from scratch? And so I was like, this could actually be a really good testing ground for starting something from zero and not pushing it with my personal brand. And so that is why I created it. Now, my goal was to get it up in 4 weeks. Anyone else like completely time blind? I mean, we are so ambitious with what we can achieve in such a limited amount of time, right? That is the hallmark of entrepreneurs, like guilty as charged constantly. However, it took me 7 weeks. And so in the show notes, I've actually done a timeline of what I did when and how I kind of spaced it out and what I did throughout that 7 weeks to get it to launch time. So you can follow that. It is also what we teach inside her empire builder is the step-by-step of how to do all of these different things. And so what actually took a lot of the time, now, when I say it took me 7 weeks to make it, I am running her empire builder and that is my number one priority. And so I spend, the bulk of my time doing that. I work about 15 hours a week on that. And then so I had about 5 to 10 hours a week to spend on Welcome to Adulting. So I made that, which if you want to check that out, go to welcometoadulting.co. I'll link that in the show notes for you too. So many links in the show notes today. But when I was making that, I didn't have that much time, but my big thing was every week to do one more thing to inch me closer. And so eventually we did get there. Now, what took a lot of the time was the filming. I do not I do not like filming pre-recorded content. It's probably like the thing that I find the hardest of the whole course creation journey. Give me live any day. Any day. Like I can go live any day, anytime. Give me the energy of other humans, no problem. But the recording, like it takes a lot of energy. I always find myself when I'm finished really, really depleted of energy, like really zapped. And so doing that, trying to do a few hours of that every day in the 2 weeks that I was doing the filming took a lot out of me. And then we also did double. And what I mean by that is because I wanted it to be super practical and super specific, I realized I couldn't do one for a global audience. And so I made one really specific for the Australian audience in talking about superannuation and MyGov and all of the state-based services. And then I made another one for an American audience. And so that's talking about 401ks and college pathways and, taking into account so many different states having so many different rules. And their taxation system and all of the different things. And so that took a long time to research and then also to film double the amount and also to change each of the resources. So we have workbooks and we have like guides for parents so that they can have conversations with their kids throughout and all of these different things, of which the Australian and the American version both have different spelling, different words, like, in the independent lesson, like becoming more independent, I'm like every young adult should know how to cook like 10 basic meals. And so I've got a recipe book there for the 10 easiest meals. Like I am not a great cook, but these are the 10 that I can just nail, like the easy ones. But even in that, instead of capsicum, it's bell pepper. Like there's the subtle differences for everything. And so that took a lot longer. But it's something that I am super, super proud of and have put out into the world and feel really, really good about. And so what I wanted to talk about was how I marketed it to this point and what my strategy for sales is ongoing, because I think that's really helpful to anyone who's looking at making like a low cost, high volume evergreen product. Because everything that I've sold in the past, like we have Idea to Launch and Limited Launch Formula, our short courses, and AI for course creators. But they kind of trickle in. I don't have like purposeful Facebook ad funnels going to them. They're really, when people are waiting for Her Empire Builder to launch, or they're complementary to Her Empire Builder membership itself. So most of my focus has been on launching that kind of medium to high ticket, low volume programs that we do through a live launch twice a year. So this has been a different sales strategy. So the way that I marketed it was I did that post back in November. And then what I did after that, I do not advise doing to anyone, including myself, but time got away. And so I put that out. And then my intention was to build the audience while I was building the course. However, I just ran out of time. And so I didn't do it. I ghosted my audience, which was the worst thing you could possibly do. So by the time we launched, we had around 900 people that had joined the email list, but I hadn't sent one email until it was sales time. And so with that, I kind of had to make the decision, do I wait a month and not launch it yet and warm up the list a little bit of people that have been on there, for 3 months and haven't had any correspondence from me? Or do I just launch it? And I decided just to launch it because I just wanted it out in the world. And this is something that I see my members get stuck on a lot, is going, oh, it's not quite right yet. Like I haven't crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's yet, so I'm going to push back the launch. And while there's merit to that sometimes, like I think the quality of the program needs to be really good. But everything else, you can improve sales and marketing as you go. So my thing was, well, I'd rather just launch it and then I can refine all of the front end as we're going, because the back end was chef's kiss, beautiful. And so I started out just sending my email out to tell everyone it was there, and did a couple of posts on social media, and that was it. And so now how I'm going to market it from an ongoing point of view is, well, now it's going to sit just sit there for a month because all focus and energy is on her Empire Builder launch for the next month. Which, by the way, if I haven't said that already, you can go to herempirebuilder.com and join in on all of the launch fun. But so what will happen come April, May is I'll set up a lot of Facebook ads. So there'll be a lot of Facebook ads going. My goal is to have around a 30 to 40% acquisition cost. So my goal is to do that, market it through our email newsletter. So we're going to start a weekly newsletter that will be going out starting in May, and having no personal brand in there. So it will be written by me, but the Instagram, for example, won't be featuring me. It will not be the Tina show in there. So we'll be doing it in a different way, and we'll still be doing organic social media, but the organic social media will be very much a combination of education and entertainment, a lot of relatable content. So, when you see those memes that are like, no one tells you how hard it is to go from this to this. And it's like, you're a little cute little patootie 2-year-old there with its chubby cheeks, dancing and looking all gorgeous, to like being a teenager walking out the door, getting in their own car and driving off down the street by themselves. Like, I see those and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's the sort of content that I'll be creating for the Welcome to Adulting brand. And so that will kind of get up the popularity and the relatability. And then we can sprinkle in the education, and then a couple times a week, like, have the call to action to buy the course. But most of the course sales will then come from the Facebook ads. And so the sales strategy wise, we'll be directing them from all of that sort of marketing into the sales pages. So because I've got the specific courses for Australia and the US, we have separate sales funnels for each of those. And so they are all done with a VSL, of which, side note, I don't think anyone should have any sales page anymore that does not have a VSL on it. If you haven't heard of a VSL before, that is a video sales letter. It should be on every single sales page that you have, no matter what size it is. So whether you are selling a $7 program or a $7,000 program, you should have a video on there, because in this day of AI and a whole lot of things that, are hard for trust issues, and, we need that credibility, we need that likability, we need that trust, which has always been the case, but it is more prevalent now. It's more important now. So I think all of the sales pages should have a VSL on the top. The other thing that we have on our sales pages is Deadline Funnel. If you haven't used Deadline Funnel before, I have linked it for you in the show notes. It is awesome. So if you go to welcometoadulting.co, you'll see what it looks like in practice. So basically, with an evergreen funnel, it's always hard to get people to commit, because it's like, well, I'm busy at the moment. Maybe I'll do it next week, or maybe I'll do it next month, or I'll do it when I have time. And of course, when do we ever have time? Like, when does that ever kind of come around? And so having Deadline Funnel on there allows you to have a discount that is unique to each person when they hit the page. So when someone first hits the page, the sales page will give them $100 off, and that will start the Deadline Funnel countdown timer. And so they'll get that $100 off for 72 hours. And then once they're on that page, we'll subscribe them into an email funnel that also reminds them of that 72 hours kicking down, and also lets us to give them some education and give them some tools and some value in there as well. And then once that 72 hours is over, they can go on our normal email list, and then the page will revert to the normal pricing page. So it's just that little bit of a line in the sand of encouraging people to buy now, which I think is super important when it comes to an evergreen program, because otherwise, like, what is the incentive to get it right there and then? And so we're doing it through that, and we're doing it through email nurture sequence. And so with how this has gone so far, so I am recording this episode for you. It is Friday, so this episode is going to come out next week, but it is Friday right now, and we released it on Monday at about 4:00 in the afternoon. Now, when I released it, I was like super psyched. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been working on this for ages. I've been thinking about it for months, and it is finally here. Let's go. And I did a big show of like with the family, and I'm like, it's live. And I changed it over, and like we personally popped the confetti, and then nothing. And I was like, I honestly thought it'd just go like ping, 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 ping. But, a lot of people have a pessimism bias. A lot of people are like, I don't know if it's going to work out. I have the opposite in that I have such an optimism bias. I 100% believe the universe is rigged in my favor. I always think I'm going to land on my feet. I always think that I was struck by the lucky stick. And I do think that owning that belief does make it true in a lot of instances. But I very rarely entertain the thought of what if it doesn't work out? Because I'm always like, I think luck is where opportunity meets hard work, right? And so I will look at it and go, I worked really hard on this. I have the knowledge. I've raised some great teenagers. It's really good content. I've got my teaching background. The design is beautiful, really good for people to take and use in bite-sized pieces, really digestible for both the teenagers and the parents. It's good. And so I was standing behind that and going, and for $197, like they're getting all of this, which is going to save them a bunch. Like even if they just can convince them to buy a share or not use buy now, pay later, like they're going to, like it's ROI is there. So I'm like 100% behind it. And so I think, there's no reason why it shouldn't work out. There's that. I've got the business acumen behind it, marketing experience, not a doubt. And so when we put it live and no one bought, I was like super confused in going, all right, what's happening here? And so put it out at 4:00, gets to 8 p.m. No one's bought. One going, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing, because me being an idiot was like, I released it on Monday afternoon. The masterclass that I had prepared for her Empire Builder on Tuesday morning was how I set it all up. I gave all of the templates for everything that I used, all of the emails, all of the VSLs, all of the slides, all of the workbooks, gave all the templates and all the strategy around how I set it up so that my members could take it and use it. But I wanted to be able to say, like, this is how many sales we've had through and this is how it's working. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have so much egg on my face. Anyway, 8:00, I went and saw my husband and was like, hey, so I don't know if the checkout's working or not. I think it is, but maybe we just need to send a sign to the universe that we are open for business. He looks at me like I'm crazy, but also we've been together for 23, 24 years or something. So he's well aware of my special blend of crazy and was like, all right, no worries. Like, let's tell the universe we're open for business. So he goes on, he buys one of them. He's like, well, the checkout works. I was like, okay, great. How was the process? Like, was it all smooth? And yes, it all worked smooth, which was great. And then this is the thing, right? So we sent that sign to the universe. In the next hour, 4 people bought. In 1 hour, 4 people. And I'm like, you can't make that shit up. Like, that is like, sometimes the universe just needs its little kickstart, just needs a shift in the energy of going, hey, we're here. I was like even surprised myself looking at it going, that is very serendipitous. Like, that is some woo-woo stuff. Anyway, so that went out. We've now, in the last 4 days, we've just got over 20 sales, which is great. So my goal in the first month is to have around 50. So that looks like we're on track for that. And then my goal, once I get all of the Facebook ads dialed in and our whole sales strategy dialed in and some organic marketing and the email newsletters going, my goal is 5 a day. So I think it'll take me like 6 to 9 months to get it to that stage, but that is my goal and where I am heading. So I will be creating that and doing a lot of experiments with it and then sharing that live with my members inside her Empire Builder of what's working ad wise, what's working funnel wise, what's not. We have a lot of like back end. We're using Mouseflow, which records screen recordings of people and the site behavior and the customer journeys and how long on different pages and what color buttons people are clicking on. And we're A/B split testing everything so that we can figure out what are the things that are working right now and what are the things that aren't, so that we can pass that straight on to our members so that they can learn from that and implement into their businesses as we go as well. So it's been fun to get back into the experimentation phase and get back into the thing of going, all right, like, let's play with this, because I don't experiment that much with her Empire Builder because you don't want to break what is not broken, right? And so I'm pretty careful with how much I experiment with that. So it's really nice to be able to play with something that is not established yet. And so that was my little insider of behind the scenes of our Evergreen launch and our Evergreen product. And so hopefully that gives you a few tips. And if you're looking to do your own low cost, high volume, that'll give you a little starting place. But if you are really wanting to dial it in, join us inside Her Empire Builder. We are opening next week. Join the waitlist at herempirebuilder.com. You will be able to get the best deal of the launch if you join during the early bird period. We've got some bonuses for that. Or if you want to suss it out a bit more, if you haven't worked with me before, go to tinaweek.com and register for our free training. So that's tinaweek.com. That way you can spend 3 days with me. We're doing some personal brand stuff. We're doing content creation. We're doing some finances, everything to get your business nice and established and leveled up. So that way it'll give you a good indication of how we work, the type of content that we go through, and whether or not it's going to be right for you. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside. I will be live from Palm Springs, which is where I am running the launch from this time, which I'm so excited about because it is so my favorite town. So I will see you from there. Join in on Instagram for all of the launch fun. It is bound to be a lot of edutainment this time because I am doing launch a little bit differently in that I'm not scheduling a lot of things. I'm doing it in the moment on the fly because I want it to have like that alive launch energy and that little bit of craziness that happens when I'm in Palm Springs and I just get a little bit wild and unhinged and have a lot of fun. It's like Mum's Gone Wild when you leave your family and you have a few gins and you're in your favorite place and you're like, woo, I remember what life is like. This is so good. So join me there. I'll see you there.